All right, in this video, we will go over the ballot initiative program for Washington State. This is how we will be able to get Andrew on the ballot for our primary on March 10th. I'm going to start out in the easiest place, I think. It's going to be in the Seattle Yang Gang group, Facebook group. Right now, we have this pinned as an announcement, so you can just click on this Google Doc, and it will take you to all the information you need to get started collecting signatures. This is just taking me to the secret page that you guys aren't supposed to see. So I'm going to switch over to the other one real quick. So when you open up the doc, it will load this screen right here. I've simplified it a little bit to be more streamlined to find what you need. So the important parts are the instructions for the initiative and then how to submit data. Down below, you'll be able to see a tracker on who has collected signatures so far, where they collected them, and how many signatures they collected. That way you can kind of figure out where the most effective locations are. And if you're seeing somebody putting up huge numbers all the time, we can reach out to that person and be like, hey, what's working for you? So we can all share in that knowledge. So we'll start in the instructions for the initiative. When you come over this button right here, you can click on the link and open up the actual campaign link that they sent us with all the important information. So before you go out and start collecting signatures, I really suggest you read through this carefully. The last thing you want to do is collect signatures incorrectly and make it so all the work we put in doesn't actually get Andrew on the ballot. So I'll go over this pretty quickly. Who can collect signatures? Anybody can. In Washington State, we don't have a residency requirement. We don't have an age requirement. We don't have a political affiliation requirement. So anybody that comes to Washington State or lives in Washington State can collect signatures. Who can sign? People must be registered or pre-registered voters in Washington State. So if they are not 18 today, but will be 18 by the time that the election rolls around, and they are pre-registered, they can sign the petition to get Andrew Yang on the ballot. Washington does not require people to register by party. However, by signing this, whoever is signing it is acknowledging that they are going to be representing the Democratic Party, or they're being publicly identified as a Democrat. And they are welcome to sign as many petitions to get presidential candidates on the Democratic primary ballot as they want to in Washington State. They're not limited by a quantity. However, they are limited by party. So by signing a Democratic petition, they cannot sign a Republican or a minority party candidate's petition. And if they do, then that signature becomes void on every single ballot that or initiative that they signed. So just letting people know that they don't have to be registered as a Democrat. However, they cannot sign on for a Republican or minority party. Where can you find the petition? There's a link right here. I did not put it in the Google Sheet for the very reason that I want you all to read that information right there. We'll quickly look it over. At the top, it has all of the legal information that people need to know when they're signing the petition. And then at the bottom, we have a spot for signature, printed name, resident address, city, zip, and country. We need all of those sections filled out as legibly as possible. If they cannot read and verify the registration, then that signature will be thrown out as well. So we just want to make sure that we can read it before we let the person walk away. We'll go back over to the collecting signatures form. So to maximize the number of signatures, they recommend that we start our sheets ourselves. So sign yourself at the top, get some of your friends and families to sign as well, get a little bit more comfortable, and then take a clipboard and your petition out to a busy location in your community. So suggestions for this would be farmers markets, grocery stores, any kind of public event that's going on in your area, a mall, and then it's also recommended to visit libraries because people that go to public libraries are usually pretty involved civically. So that's a great place to find people to sign your petitions as well. And then again, it reiterates that we want legible signatures. What do I do with my petition when I am done? So after you collected your signatures, they are going to ask you to scan your petition and email a copy of these to Zach and Kevin, whose emails are at the very bottom of the sheet. You can also take a photo with your phone and save it as a PDF and email it this way too. And then you're going to want to mail, or you can mail the original copy to the address below, which has not been posted yet. I recommend just emailing it. It's really easy that way. When you do that, if you are emailing the scanned copies, the physical copies should be kept in a safe place until at least March 10th, 2020, which is the day of the presidential primary. And that's just in case they decide to audit us. We want to make sure we physically have all of these documentation. And then how many signatures does the state require and when is the deadline? So Washington requires 1,000 signatures by January 3rd, 2020 at 5 p.m. The campaign is asking us to collect 2,000, double that, because some signatures may not be counted. And then in Washington, the order in which the person appears on the ballot is determined by the time or like how soon you turn in the initiative. So the first person to have the initiative turned in gets the first spot on the ballot. So the sooner we collect these signatures, the better. The requirement is January 3rd. The campaign has suggested we shoot for no later than December 20th so that we're wrapped up before the holiday time. My goal would be for us to be done before Thanksgiving. And the reason for that is, first off, Thanksgiving is really the start of holiday season. People will be busy on the weekends. It's going to be inclement. The weather is not good for standing outside and collecting signatures at that time either, especially if you're over in eastern Washington. You could have quite a bit of snow and be a little bit frozen, and you don't want that for petition signing. So the sooner we can get this through, the better. I'll pause really quickly and ask for questions if you guys have any questions from this section.
Do you know how many signatures we have so far?
We have 120 that I know of so far. That's how many have been reported to the tracker that we have up.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we just started. We got this information on Friday, and it is Tuesday now. So it's only been a couple days, and I know there are a couple more signature events planned coming up. So before we go on to reviewing how to submit these, I did want to stop and talk about a couple different things. So first off, after this weekend, I wanted to suggest how to pitch this, because what we learned was a lot of the times the techniques that we use for canvassing are not necessarily the best for collecting signatures. Although we love talking about Andrew and his policies because we love him, we don't necessarily need to be doing this with the initiative. The best way to go about it is just ask, are you registered to vote in Washington State? That is a really straightforward yes/no question. Then when they give you that answer, if they say yes, fantastic. I'm collecting signatures to get Andrew Yang on the presidential primary ballot. Would you be willing to sign? Or can you sign for me? Any of those kinds of things. Just two quick questions, because realistically, these people are walking towards and away from you at a pretty fast pace, so you need to be able to stop them, get your point across, and collect that signature. After they're signing, you can ask them if they have any questions about Andrew or in his policies, if they've heard of them, if they're Yang Gang, do they want to join our Yang Gang on Facebook? Like, all of those great conversations can happen afterwards, but the initial conversation is just getting them to sign the paper. So for example, when we were collecting at the Capitol Hill Farmers Market this weekend, we teamed up with the Pete Buttigieg signature collectors as well, because we could both get the people to sign our initiatives, because we're all in the same fight. We're just getting our candidate on the ballot. Once they're on the ballot, then we're not best friends anymore. We're not working together, but right now we can totally work together. And then also I wanted to share some best practices for signature collecting. So 2,000 seems like a really, really big goal, but when you break it down, it's pretty small. We have about 6,000 supporters in Washington State of Andrew Yang. So if even 1/3 of those were able to sign a petition, we would get him on the ballot. Really, when you break it down to a super easy way to think about it, if 200 supporters, which we have over 600 supporters in the Seattle Yang Gang, so if 200 supporters took a sheet and got just those 10 signatures that are available on that sheet, we would hit our 2,000 signatures. So it doesn't have to be a big event. You can just take it around. Everybody has 10 people in their life that could get to sign this petition. So you can break it down into really small things. And as long as we get a lot of people on board, it'll be really easy work. That being said, if you are hosting or attending any non-ballot initiative related Yang Gang events in the next few months, for example, I'm hosting the debate watch party on October 15th. I'm going to bring not only enough sheets for everybody that's attending to sign the petition, but also I'm going to bring extras so those people that attend can take those sheets home and collect 10 signatures that way too, because that's a really easy way to get that work distributed amongst a bunch of different hands. So if you are going to an event, be sure to have some sheets on hand. When you're out on in your daily life, have a sheet on hand. You can get people to sign it. So just really focusing on that consistent action will make it a lot easier. So if there aren't any other questions, I'll switch back to showing you guys how to submit the unofficial versions of your signatures. So we created a Google form. So when you click or go to submit data, you'll open up a form. It will require you to fill out every single line on this. You won't be able to submit it unless you do. The top has a reminder that this is not the official submission. This is just for our state tracker. So please ensure you email to Kevin and Zach at yang2020.com to make sure that we get the signatures into the hands that they need to go to. One of the other great things about doing a local tracker is that if we're missing 27 votes, and we should have 27 more and we don't know where that's going to, we can pull up the initiative tracker and say, who collected exactly 27 signatures? So we can follow up with that person because maybe it got stuck in their outbox, some kind of thing happened so that we weren't actually sending them all the way through. So by filling this out and emailing, we'll be able to kind of double check our work. So it'll ask your name, your email, your phone number, the date it was submitted, the location of collection, the date of collection, and the number of signatures, and then you'll submit this. It will populate into that locked form responses screen, so all of your private information will be kept private. All that will show up is going to be your name, the location, some dates, and then the number of signatures. And then on this, we'll keep a running total, and then it tells you how many signatures we have, the goal, and our percent to goal. So right now, we're only 6%. Our goal should really be to hit significantly more than that in the coming weeks. So I would say we should be shooting for about 300 to 400 signatures a week. This is just from the first 3 events we hosted when we first got this started. So we should be able to ramp that up quite a bit. Do you guys have any other questions for me? There aren't. Oh, go ahead.
Nope. I don't have any.
All right. Perfect. So I will go ahead and end this video. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to myself. My name is Brenna. If you guys don't know how to get a hold of me, reach out to somebody in your Yang Gang. I post in all of your guys' Yang Gangs all the time. So somebody will track me down. Or your YGPC or your congressional district lead should be able to get you this information as well.